Hi, this is Brian Cartwright coming from the Autonation Ford dealership in Marietta, Georgia. We're here graced with the presence of Mr. Nick Dudley, the service director of Autonation Ford, Marietta, Georgia, and Rodney Terry, our service advisor from the Teletruck network. And we're here today to talk about two things. One, the fleet assessment procedure. This evening, we're going to be assessing a fleet on site. We'll be recording some things from that and sharing that with you next week, and what goes on with a fleet assessment and why that's necessary. And we're going to talk about the Autonation Ford service here, factory service on site, bringing the factory to you. As we spoke before, as you know, we've been working with the Autonation Ford in Union City, and of course, we broadcast from the Autonation Mercedes dealership here in Marietta a few weeks ago. But it's important to understand that because the Element vehicles that the Amazon DSPs are operating are basically Mercedes and Ford, particularly here in the Atlanta area, that there is no superior service than the on-site and pickup services made available from the factory for your Ford Transits. So we know we have large populations of Ford Transits, both from Element and from Merchants Fleet and other rental operations. And we know we have hundreds of them and new ones on the way. We see new ones just coming and being delivered here recently. So it's very important to understand, and we're going to talk about here briefly, let Mr. Dudley talk about it, why factory service is different from just a tire shop or some people that roll up on site. The benefit of some of the other folks coming on site was what they're on site. Well, we're on site here too. As you can see, our on-site one-stop service vehicle, is most of you should have seen by now in your facilities, your parking lot, is prepared to go on site and do the same services or more than any other service that comes on site. And we're going to talk about the or more here today. So very briefly, we just want to reiterate that our mission as Advanced Truck Services Teletruck Network consists of two, not three things. One, that there are no drop routes based on safety and the mechanical or body operation of your fleet. No drop routes, that's our mission. Number two, helping us, DSPs, and everyone in the Amazon community achieve that 97% FICO score, which you can't achieve without your safety scores, which basically relates to the vans. So if you don't maintain your vans, you don't get your bonuses, which is why you're in the business, right? So we're focusing on just two things. Everything we're talking about relates to no drop routes and getting the bonuses, and you can't get your bonuses if you're dropping routes. So we're going to talk about fleet inspection here briefly, and then we're going to turn it over to Mr. Dudley today. Again, just to reiterate, we are supporting all vans, rental, and Element. That would be obviously your Dodge ProMaster from your rentals, your Ford from the Ford factory dealers here, and your Mercedes, as we have been broadcasting before, in all of the stations, DAT 1, 2, and 3 in Atlanta, from the Marietta Mercedes dealer. Here, we can go on site as well anywhere in Atlanta. We have dedicated teams, dedicated operations for this, dedicated equipment and facilities. We've talked about that before, but just to summarize for those that missed the previous services, the point is to be able to come on site to you and take care of everything you need. And we mean everything. You've heard in previous broadcasts, Autonation body work. We've talked about detailing and sanitization. We've talked about tires and brakes and essentially everything that's happening. But today we're going to talk even more in more detail about some of the warranty repairs and how to avoid repairs that maybe should have been a recall, but weren't, but are still under warranty. And that's the service that only a Ford or a Mercedes dealer can give you at the level that we're talking about, so that you don't drop routes and get your bonuses. Now, everything we do comes from an app, and you know now that the code on the side of the truck, everything we've seen and done, everyone that's dealt with us knows that all services are ordered through the app and managed through the app. What does that mean? As you see on the screen, same day in and out on a Ford Transit. This was a real order. Last week we talked about fixing the door of a Transit. We can fix anything on a Transit when you put it into the app. There's nothing from stem to stern that Ford makes that these folks here can't fix. So how do we know what you have? The fleet assessment, briefly, is a method where we go on site. This is where Mr. Terry will go on site, I'm going on site, and others that are capable of doing it. Mr. Dudley will go on site at some point in time, potentially as well. And we actually do what? Look at the vans. We look at your vans because you've got transits that are rented as well as leased from Element. So the maintenance procedures for the van are the same. The vans are the same, but the business aspects of maintaining that van are not the same, right? So you may rent a transit from a rental operation, and what they pay for and what their concept of preventative maintenance is not necessarily what you're getting from Element. So we assess all of your vans, everything, whether the GMCs, we've got your Dodges, all of them come under a single comprehensive service process, which is managed through that app that you just saw, but executed through factory dealers that have the tools, the knowledge, the expertise, and the experience, what they're going to talk about, to make sure that you're actually getting your vans properly fixed with the right parts and in time. And again, our track record of same-day service has been unparalleled. So picking up the van or going on site, the general idea is you put your van in the app, at least by a reasonable time. We fix the van by a reasonable time that day so that you can run a route the next day and not have your van pulled to the side. And that's what we've generally done. Now there's some guidelines that we share when we do the fleet assessment of what will and won't apply to the particular vans based on where you got them from. But for your Element vans and your Element Ford Transit vans, we can give you uniform service throughout Atlanta on site or through pickup, again, between your facility here or the one in Union City. Now, the idea of customized on-site service is something new. It's a bold and innovative thing, I must say, that we've taken on, a big challenge. But what we found is that as DSP operators and talking to other DSP operators, they only care about your fleet. If you have a fleet mixed of Ford and you've got your Mercedes, you've got your GMCs, you've got all that, there's no conversation other than what's going on with your fleet. We've got to customize your service based on your fleet, which means we need to give you a calendar so you can see your preventative maintenance services. We're working to make sure you have backup vans. We're trying to do that as fast as we can. We're doing that, but we need to expand that so that if you have, say, a recall or an accident or some untimely event, that you don't drop routes, because we've made provisions for this, because we've done the fleet assessment and we're prepared to make sure that your services are performed on time in an orderly fashion. So all the different services, everything from door repair, batteries, cabin detailing, non-paint body work, collision work, which we've seen before, pretty much anything that could be maintained in a dealership setting or a collision center setting is scheduled in advance or responded to in an emergency situation through the app. Again, we also spoke about going on site, our COVID busters, doing electrostatic remediation of the various viruses that are out there, COVID and others, and also washing and detailing the vans, making sure they're clean and in compliance with Amazon's specifications for the maintenance of the appearance of your van. But here today, the feature of today's conversation is Mr. Dudley. We're broadcasting from the floor of the Ford, Autonation Ford Marietta facility, a huge facility, nice clean facility. You can eat lunch off the floor of this facility. It's nice. Having worked on cars a long time ago, in a decade I won't mention, the first thing that struck me about this facility, walked in, it smells nice, right? How many shops smell good? You want, and when it smells good, that means they're maintaining it. And if they're maintaining their shop, they're maintaining their vehicle, right? So they take care of the shop so it could take care of you. So the vehicle you see here in front, service, it's like literally having your own service department right there, right behind your parking lot. We come to the parking lot, fix it on site, or bring it in here and fix it. It's literally like we brought the factory to you. So that having been said, what we're going to do now is we're going to just I'm going to ask a couple questions, and I'm going to give the headset over to Mr. Dudley, let him answer that questions. And I'm only going to ask really 3 questions. One, the first question is, if I'm the owner of a fleet of vehicles, right? I've got, let's say, 25 Ford Transits. I've got some other vehicles that I've leased, maybe some Rams or some GMCs. Why would I ever take my Ford Transits or any of these other vehicles to anywhere other than a factory dealer? That's question number one. Number two, I'm anticipating that the answer to the question relates to the expertise, and knowledge of the staff. So I'd like you to maybe talk a little bit about what a master technician is and what the investment is that you make in keeping the knowledge up on the technicians, and the service bulletins and the information you get from the factory that is really exclusive to the dealer, right, for warranty repairs and for recalls and things like that. And the third thing is just the expanse of the facility. Maybe you could just give us a sense of how many bays, the capacity, how many vehicles you can handle here compared to, say, the typical tire shop. Maybe those three questions, right? So I'm going to give you the headset, Nick, and let you just sort of chat with folks and talk about that. First one is, why would you bring your van anywhere but here?
So the reason that, the smartest thing to do in bringing your vehicle here is, you touched on it. We have factory certified technicians that is the bare minimum. You're not allowed to work on a car until you're at least certified by the technicians, by the manufacturer Ford. So, and that involves all the way down to our oil changers, right? This isn't an independent where somebody right out of high school can just show up and learn from the guy that's been doing it a while that's going to show them how to do it. They have to go through testing. They have to go through on-site training before they ever touch a car. Then you get into our master certified technicians. They have been doing this. This is their career. To become a master certified technician, it takes almost a minimum of 7 years of working on cars before you're qualified. And that's on-site classes trained by Ford engineers off-site, including online classes. So it's, and then you got your specialty services. We are diesel certified here. We are transmission certified here. And these are specialized technicians that's all they do all day long is work on those particular units. So that mixed with the factory parts and other parts available to us, we're able to get the vehicles fixed same day. Being located here in Marietta, we also have access to many other Ford factory stores to where if we don't have it, we can send people out to get those parts. So there's a lot of things that go into us being the successful as we are with our fleet. We handle a lot of fleet companies, a lot of the government vehicles, the hero units that everybody sees going down the road. So the hero units, I'm sure everybody's seen them at some point in time with their flashing lights on the interstate. When people are hurt, their cars are broke down or whatever the case may be on the side of the road, they call 411 and Hero shows up. And Hero comes out and helps them change tires, helps them if the belt broke, if it needed to just block traffic for them while they're being assisted. And those trucks need service. And when those trucks need service, they bring them to us. So the people that are out there helping all of our customers on the road, we're helping the people that help our customers.
You're the service tech.
That's right. We're the service to the service. So exactly.
That's great. While you're at it, you did mention something else about oil changes, right? Is there such a thing as a routine oil change? When you're going to change oil, aren't you looking for other things when you're already there?
Every vehicle that right. So the oil change services are a thing of the past. That was funny. My grandfather used to just talk about, take it in, get a lube oil and filter done on it, right? And unfortunately, that's no longer. It's mileage interval services now. We have what's called minor services and major services for the vehicles. And included in that's a multi-point inspection, which every vehicle gets. We're looking for safety-related items such as leaks on the vehicles, brake pads worn down, tire treads worn down, debris inside of the tire treads, making sure your air pressures are where they're supposed to be, recommended by the factory. And then anything that we see that just needs attention due to time and service based off of Ford's manufacturers.
So, maybe you can repeat what I'm saying, but if they have, once you got the VIN number, now we've got a record of what's needed and the condition of that VIN number.
And also the recalls, any recalls associated with it. So
they can't hear what I'm saying, but you can say that once you got the VIN number.
Once we have the VIN number, we then enter it into Ford system. It's called Oasis. Inside of there, it'll give us the vehicle breakdown, the build for it, and also if there's any safety recalls or any extensions on warranty items. A lot of our vehicles, Ford's really good about knowing that they have a known issue with a vehicle, and so they'll extend the warranty that the customer would never know that. You know, their vehicle. Some of our vehicles have a transmission control module that the warranty's been extended out to 150,000 miles. And, you know, I had a guy just yesterday, had 136,000 miles on his Focus, and he brings it in because the transmission's going out. And I tell him, hey, man, it's all covered under warranty. You've got an extension. And he would have never known that if he would have just taken it to Pep Boys or someplace else and paid to have that work done on his car, and it could have been covered at the manufacturer.
What could that cost in a van like this?
Over $1,000 easily.
So you could literally save somebody the difference in all the oil changes they're doing for the whole year.
Correct. Correct.
In just catching one thing.
Yes, sir.
Really? I didn't know that. Well, that's why we're here, right?
That's why we're here.
Educate the public. Well, that having been said, generally speaking, you talked about the expertise. How about specialized tools, bays? Would you compare how many bays do you have? I mean, I took pictures. How big is this place?
So our facility, and that's a great question. Our facility is one of the biggest Ford stores here in the area. We have over 40 bays, and a quarter of those bays are heavy bays, just designed specifically for vans like this. Behind us are big Transits, the big heavy duty, Super Duty series. And we have those. The other cool part too is one of those is designed for alignments. So a lot of times when you take it into a normal independent, they only have a lift that can lift a normal size vehicle or truck. And sometimes you got heavier units that need a heavy lift on it. So we've got one that we can do regular alignments on, and we've got one for our heavy duty trucks we can do them on, because they need tires and alignments just like regular cars do as well. Exactly. A lot of stop and go, turn in here in the city. So this facility, again, like I said, 40 bays, and I've got a tech for almost every one of them. So we've got plenty of staff. Very fortunate that COVID didn't affect us too much, and Autonation took care of its staff during that time.
Wow, you call the police and get the army. Well, this is significant though, because of the capacity, and maybe want to relate to that. When you have the capacity, that means what? Less waiting to get your service, right?
Correct. Less waiting, quicker service. We get the cars in and out. A lot of the other stores in our area aren't as blessed with that, so they do have 2 and 3 day wait times just to get their vehicle seen by a technician. Most of our vehicles are seen same day, brought in, if it's brought in early enough in the day, if not next day. So
what is the general cutoff point you'd like to have in time of day? Generally, we're seeing like before noon.
Correct. So any vehicle brought to us before lunchtime, before noon, we can typically get it in the shop same day, unless it's something specialty like diesel or transmission related. But any kind of check engine lights, any kind of drivability concerns, things to that nature, same day service.
Are you buying the lunch?
the best that vending machine has to offer.
I give you one thing to say no to, right? Everything else is yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's great. Well, also, let me ask you personally, like, before we get to this last question, everyone that I've talked to involved with Automation has had some personal passion for cars, right? And, you know, people know I'm we're car guys, we're from Detroit, you know, so it's like what we do. Like, go Idaho, they love potatoes, we love cars. Tell us a little bit about you, your personal background, how you got to be the director. The director is a pretty big job.
Yes, sir. Yeah, cars are all I've known. I've been in the car business since I was 17 years old. I started out washing cars at a Toyota store, and worked my way up into a service advisor at a different location. So I've come up through the ranks, lane manager to service manager, now to service director. So been in the business for over 20 years, all car dealerships, and this is all I know. It's my passion. You know, I love it. It's most people, you know, don't look forward to coming into work because they don't like what they do. You get to work with customers. It's a different story every day. It's a different problem every day, and it makes it fun. I have a great staff, great support. They make it fun, and you know, we come in and we work hard, and it allows us to go home. You know, we work hard to play.
Of course. So when you talk about these transit vans in particular, can you give them a little insight into some of the more technical aspects that the factory sees? Got cameras in there, backup cameras. You know, you've got electrical components, controlling transmission, air conditioning. You know, there's a lot of high-tech stuff going on. That's where, you know, would there be certain equipment you've got here that you wouldn't get at the tire shop that's for the Ford Transit?
Right. So the transit vans, it's a good question, Brian. So the transit vans, like any other vehicles, it's got the same amount of computers, it's got the same amount of electronics in it, if not more. And so all of our vans, you know, we have the Ford diagnostic laptops that we use with all of Ford software in it to allow our master technicians to go in if there's an issue with any of those programs, softwares, whatever the electronic may, even diagnostic, you know, as far as engine problems, transmission. All of it's monitored by a different system, and we have our special tools like all manufacturers do, but you know, we're able to go in and it helps us diagnose the cars more quickly, and they're mobile. So as long as we got a Wi-Fi signal, we can jump into any location and look up what we need to.
So is there any limitation on what we could do with this vehicle on site?
The only thing I probably couldn't do on site is major heavy engine repairs or transmission repairs or an alignment, because I don't have a mobile alignment machine.
But otherwise, we can basically take care
Just
of
about any kind of maintenance. Flushes would be a little more difficult, you know, because you got to have the machines here to do that. But any type
what is
of
a flush?
a fluid exchange, like the brake fluid, the transmission. Most of the transmissions on these vehicles are sealed transmissions, so you really want a transmission tech to do those types of services. Right. Oil changes, no problems. Filters, wipers, you name it. Sanitizing the vehicles, all that stuff's very easily done.
And of course, even though this is a Ford dealership, because of automation, you can do Dodge Rams too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we service all makes and models, just how they go through our used car department and everything else. We get all the filters and everything we need to do those.
And one last thing, can you explain to folks, because when we say OEM, original equipment manufacturer, in some cases, like in the Mercedes, you got to use the OEM rotors after you resurface. That's Mercedes' rules. But can you explain to the owners, I got one question, what it means to be able to get OEM parts? Because when you really need an OEM part, they don't have it at the non-factory. We're talking a wait of some days, if not a week or more, right?
Correct. So with OEM equipment and OEM, we use OEM on just about everything, right? Maintenance wise, you know, if it's a Mercedes or it's a Dodge or whatever else, we always try to go OEM first on those, just because of the warranties that come with it, right? It keeps the warranty intact from the manufacturer, the warranty supplied by the manufacturer, and it's backed at any store nationwide. Right. So the cool part too is if we do need to go aftermarket for whatever reason, where we use Autonation's precision parts, those parts are backed by Autonation at any Autonation store nationwide. And we're the largest, so we've got more stores than anybody.
So, for example, Automation has its own batteries, brake pads,
Filters, wipers, yes, sir. All of it. Rotors, the whole nine.
So you've got the best of both worlds. You've got the OEM and the Autonation.
Correct.
Both. And one last, actually, one more question on that. If I'm an owner of a fleet, I've got 30, 40, 50 or more vehicles. Am I really saving money cutting corners on parts?
Yes and no. So it depends on most of our customers with fleet. Time is money, right? They want their vehicles fixed same day. A lot of times, I may have the aftermarket, the precision part, you know, available right now. It could be a day out before I get the Ford if it's some, you know, weird part that's not available. So to them, it's you get the same warranty. It's OEM like, so they'd rather have the vehicle fixed same day and go with that part.
So you stand behind your parts, whatever parts.
It's got a guarantee no matter what.
Including tires. Let's talk about that tire guarantee.
So all of our tires come with a road hazard 2-year protection on them from the manufacturer, so it's backed, and that's good at any AutoNation store. And we have all of ours come from Tire Rack, so just like everybody else, we can get any tire that's out there.
Any tire that's out there. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Nick. Is there any other final comments you want to make to the owners? If you were having lunch with an owner of someone whose job and business depended on keeping those vans running, there's one thing you'd have to tell them, just to think about when they assess who to go to. What would that be? What would you tell them?
So I would tell those people that there's a million shops out there, but it's something when you can come to one shop that's able to take care of all your needs, one shop, one stop, and we can fix your vehicle right the first time by a factory trained technician.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate that interview. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. We're going to talk really briefly with Rodney Terry, but I want to quickly, before we close, really summarize the things that he just said, because he made some major important points. Number one, getting it fixed right the first time, right? Standing behind the repair to make sure that if something happens wherever you go, because we got 14 in the Atlanta area, 14 Autonation stores, right? So let's just say your van's out running a route in some area and something goes wrong. We're likely to have an Autonation store in that area when very few other folks would even be in that area that could stand behind the warranty that you did get from Autonation, whether it's an Autonation part or a factory part. And I think finally the whole idea here is that going on site with our on-site one-stop vehicles, with the exception of really like a heavy engine thing, which on a new vehicle, which is what you're mainly running, just doesn't happen very often at all to an Amazon DSP fleet. Most of these vehicles are well under 30,000 miles, so shouldn't ever need that, and still they're covered under warranty. A wheel alignment, that should be done in-house in the facility. But other than that, essentially we're bringing the factory to you right here. It says one stop, like you said. We can go out there on site anywhere in Atlanta, fix any of your vehicles, except the Mercedes, where the Mercedes will go on site and fix it from our Mercedes that's right across right next door, right? So there's no vehicle that a DSP has that we cannot fix on site from most of the things that you need, and then pick it up and bring it back, and generally the same day as well for the rest of what you need. Unless there's something really heavy and something really wrong, that would be a really unusual situation, which we've seen those situations and we've managed those situations, but now we're talking about out of 100 situations, maybe not even one. You might have to go through 300 or 400 situations before that would be the case. You're getting your van back the same day so that you what? Don't drop a route and get that high FICO score. Now we're going to do just a quick introduction, as we're going to also talk about fleet assessments today, to Mr. Rodney Terry, who actually lives in Atlanta. But Rodney and I go back to 1983. Rodney was a fleet buyer for our gas and electric companies back in Detroit, the Michigan Consolidated Gas Company, Detroit Edison. Now they call it DTE Energy. But Rod was a professional buyer for 25 years, actually been engaged in fleet purchasing, negotiating contracts with shops like this, parts like this. So he has a broad and deep background for this. Now, back in the era that he did it, you had to crank the vehicles to get them started. So, you know, the newer ones are kind of high tech. But Rod does know, when we talk fleet assessment, what is going on. So I'm going to just ask Rod a couple questions, and then we're going to wrap up here today. Rodney, you want to just
Okay.
My first question is, the fleet assessment when we go on site basically consists of us getting to know the vehicles, but also getting to know the managers of the DSP.
Yes, that's correct.
Talk to the people about how you put in time, not only meeting with Nick Dudley and the different managers in each of these stores and facilities. You've been there, but you've also been out there in the parking lot meeting with the Amazon managers.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
As well as meeting with the managers of the DSP. Getting to know the people is half the fleet assessment. Want to talk about the people you've met?
Yes, Brandon. Well, yes, Brian, you are correct. I have been to all 3 DATs, and I've met all of the OTR managers, which stands for on the road manager. I've also had the opportunity to meet several DSPs in each of the DATs, and just as you said, we try to let them know that we're there for them. We're there to help them manage their fleets, and as your motto always is, don't drop a route, and to receive your bonuses.
One other thing, Rod, as well as part of what you've done here with us, you've also recruited and organized our own porters, our own people who have gone out, tell them, like what Joby's done on weekends, Saturday mornings, Sundays, that we've gone out and done unusual things to assist our DSPs in making sure they didn't drop off. Talk about the folks you have here that are folks pick a van up and back?
Yes, we actually have a team of porters for each of the 3 DATs, and luckily they have saved us on multiple Saturdays where some of the DSPs have had a vehicle break down that Saturday morning, and we've actually had to go and pick it up and deliver it to the dealership, wait while they repaired it, and we got it back to the DSP in the same day. That situation has happened multiple times for us over the last couple of months.
And also, you could talk about the fact that we've had DSPs using our vehicles when there was an unusual circumstance to avoid a drop route. We want to expand that service. We want to talk a little bit about the fact that everybody's asked for it. There's excitement. We want to know, people want to know, how can they get a rental van or replacement van when a van goes down?
That's correct. Your 4 vans have helped several DSPs on days when we actually could not get it back because of the nature of the repair. The dealer may have needed just a little bit longer to get it, like an extra day, and your 4 vans have come to be very helpful for us. You are also in the process of finalizing the backup plan, and you're going to have multiple vans available for all of our DSPs to access that are signed up with us.
Wouldn't you say that's a very attractive service option to any DSP based on what they've told you?
Yes, I think every DSP that I have talked to that's been one of their very first questions that they've asked us. When are we going to have the backup rental vans available for use?
Okay. Well, that's it. We're at our time, 2:31. Thank you. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending. That concludes our session. It is 2:30. Our time is up. But we would certainly encourage everyone to go back and look at the recordings of previous Safety Sundays. Tune in next Wednesday at 2 o'clock for Safety Sunday, because Safety Sunday is on a Wednesday, so that we can arrange service for you on Sunday. Again, Brian Cartwright broadcasting from the floor of the Marietta Autonation Ford dealer.